Episode 171 of Gracefully and Frankly. Lisa, my voice still not 100%.
You sound better, and this has really hung on a long time, though, Erin.
It really has. Make sure you don't get sick on your trip.
Oh, no.
Which began actually this past Sunday, and you arrived in Poland on Easter Monday. Now, people know we record this.
Yes.
So, what are you looking forward to the most?
Maybe trying an authentic pierogi and just looking around the city where my grandmother and grandfather grew up. And I know a lot of it's been rebuilt since then, but just getting a feel for what the city's like. I don't think I'm going to have anybody as famous as you sitting beside me, though. I'm going to have my cousin Barbara Ann. I know that much. But your flight back from Toronto to Victoria was something else.
Well, it truly was. First off, the first leg was, stupid early from Ottawa to Toronto, and it was just perfect. And then a couple hours of waiting in Toronto, which is a good thing because the Porter gates are like as far away in the terminal as you can possibly get.
Yeah, because they're the newest, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So that was fine. Are you like me, Lisa? When you're in the airport and you've got a little wait, I take out all of my devices, my charging cords, and my little extension cord that I travel with, find that plug, and charge everything like I'm going to be on a deserted island for the next 3 months.
No, I am not like you.
I did that. I was all camped out at Pearson, everything charging, everything's good. So I get on the plane, and one of the first people to get on is wearing a Port Stanley sweatshirt.
What?
And I said to her, oh, my dearest friend in the world lives in Port Stanley. And she said, oh, I just love it. I go back there as often as I can.
Wow.
So you were with me on the flight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I sit down, and this tall blonde woman sits down next to me. And as soon as I saw her, I recognized her. And it's Silken Laumann.
Wow.
Yes. The Olympic rower, motivational speaker, author, incredible Canadian.
Yep.
So we just kind of said our hi, how are yous? And then a little bit into the flight, I said, I've been a guest on your podcast, and it's really nice to sit next to you in person and stuff. But I did that thing to her that people do to me, and I really hate it because you're caught unawares. I didn't tell her who I was.
Oh.
And I don't assume people know who I am or used to be. But that whole flight, we just chatted like kind of strangers, which we are. And she was really nice and very busy doing a lot of research and stuff. And we just kind of had a nice chat until I started crying.
Why?
Well, I had a mask on because of this stupid cold that will not let go. And I didn't want to infect anyone. Least of all, Canadian legend, Silken Laumann.
Yes.
Who was going to the West Coast and was going to be doing some motivational speaking last weekend and stuff. She had a near-death experience, but I'll get to that in a sec.
Okay.
And it wasn't with me, thank God. But so I put my mask on, and then my throat is sore. And when you get a tickle and you don't want to sound for the whole airplane like you've got TB or something,
Right.
Especially in these post-COVID years. So I took a fisherman's friend. Well, I'm telling you, the fumes from that lozenge went straight up the mask and into my eyes, and I just started full-on tears.
Oh, they can be really strong. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I'm telling you, they really were. That was a little bit embarrassing.
So tell me what you learned from Silken Laumann then.
So she asked me how I was doing with retirement, and I said, well, not very well, but it's all about morphing into doing other things. When I land, I had told another friend that I was sitting next to Silken. She sent me this article that Silken had written last year about almost dying in her new home country of New Zealand.
From what?
She knew she was allergic to wasp stings, but she got stung by a wasp while on a hike in New Zealand, and she happened to have an EpiPen with her, and had she not, it would have been an obituary in 2025.
Wow.
Yes, it was that serious. And because they were so deep into wherever she and her husband were hiking, it took forever for responders to get to her. But she saved her own life with her EpiPen, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And it just drives home. Well, I mean, you're prejudice against Australia and New Zealand because you think something there is going to bite or sting you and kill you.
No, that's not what my prejudice is. My prejudice is against the flight. I don't want to take that long of a flight.
Well, the way that she puts it, because she has children who live in North America,
Right.
she says it's really only a 3-hour time difference. Yes, it's that flight, but the time difference is only 3 hours because there's a day tacked on.
Yeah, but that doesn't help make the flight any shorter. I don't know what to...
That's true. And you do worry about things like deep vein thrombosis.
I'd take a ship. I would go on a cruise that took me there. That's something I would do, yeah.
Yeah, but that really is the long way, the slow boat,
Yep.
not just to China, as the old song goes. But yeah, so she nearly died last year. And of course, I'm thinking, well, that makes for a whole different chapter in your motivational speech, which is the way we look at everything, right?
Right, exactly.
Is it going to be good for the podcast?
Her husband is a legend in London for being the founder of Good Life Fitness, and he did a bunch of other things as well, but that's the one that he normally gets associated with. David Patch Evans is her husband.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've been focusing on another guy from your area of the hood who happens to be up in space right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Our astronaut, Jeremy Hansen. Yeah, he was born in London and went to high school in Ingersoll. So a lot of places in the area claim him as their own,
Yes, pretty cool.
Yep. Okay, so you land in Victoria, and then what happens? Then where do you go?
We'll talk about great timing. Landed on the Thursday before Good Friday, got my bag, and then Rob was waiting for me, and we went straight to the ferry, lined up for about 45 minutes, and then another 45 minutes later, we're at our cabin on Pender Island.
Nice.
Yes.
You haven't told us a lot about it since you got back from Mexico. So are you loving it? Is it everything you hoped?
Yes, absolutely. I did see it when we got back from Mexico very briefly, fell in love with the place. And then, of course, I've been thinking about it since my trip to Toronto and to Ottawa, both of which were just wonderful trips to be with our friend Ian on his 60th birthday, and then to spend a few days with Colin and Jane and their folks, Phil and Brooke, and then came to the cabin, really settled in. It's just this little fairly new cabin that's built in the trees. And as I record this now, I'm up in the loft, which is the only bedroom, and I'm looking out through the trees and I can see ocean. And there's deer who come around regularly. They just lie on the little bluffs around the cabin and look in the windows. And when they come to the front lawn, well, Dottie and Livy lose their alleged minds because there's these big giant monsters.
Yeah.
So they start to bark, and we kind of have to get them used to the deer because we don't want them scared off.
Right. That's so cool, though, that you've had them come right up to the window, close enough to see what's in your coffee.
Pretty much. We just absolutely love it. It's the sweetest little island. It's much smaller, Pender is, than, say, Salt Spring, which people know much better. A tiny spot of heaven, and we found it.
Oh, that's so nice. So happy for you. It's just a wonderful place.
It's so strange, though, Lisa, to go from winters in Palm Springs, where everybody is makeup and Botox and super colorful clothes, to now being in this place, Sydney, where our home is, where it's a lot of seniors and a really laid-back attitude. And then here on the island where it's kind of granola and dreadlocks and everybody is just who they are. So there's all these different stages of who I am becoming. And my closet here is all plaid shirts.
Which one feels more like you, or do they all feel like a part of you?
They all do.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. I put on eyelashes for Ian's party a week ago and then promptly threw them out because they're not going to get worn for another year or so. It's really interesting who we become as we age. We never really do stop becoming.
No, that's so true. It's always a transformation. It's like the endless evolution from a pupa into a butterfly or whatever.
Now, part of your trip to Poland is going back to the pupa. And although there are no relatives that still live in that area, you've told all of us, now, will you be visiting graveyards, or is there anything that will be a sentimental sort of pilgrimage for you? Or what is at the heart of this trip for you and Barbara?
There really isn't going to be, because we don't know enough. There was a language barrier with our grandmother. She did speak English, but she spoke mostly Polish. And just weren't old enough to ask her the right questions, I think.
Yes.
Old enough or smart enough, however you want to put it. But that link to family is just gone with those relatives being gone. So we're just going to, I don't know, look around and check out some of the sites that you're supposed to see when you're in Warsaw and Krakow. Of course, we're going to go to Auschwitz when we're in Krakow. But Warsaw is where a grandmother and grandfather came from. And yeah, we just want to get a feel for the place. And we don't have, like in the movie What a Pain, where two cousins go to Poland to research their roots. They had an address to go to. We don't have that. But that's okay.
So do you recommend that movie, though?
Oh, it's a sweet little movie. It's a little kind of indie movie that it's low budget, low tech, low everything, but sweet. And yeah, it was cute. I thought it was good. It had a lot of heart. Yeah, it was worth seeing. I'm glad I saw it because I saw some of the places in Warsaw that we want to go to as well.
And who stars in it?
It is Jesse Eisenberg who wrote and stars in it, and Kieran Culkin, and they're two cousins who go to see where their grandmother grew up. She just recently died. She left them some money to go and do this. And the one cousin's very troubled, and the other one's very sedate and grounded, and some hilarity and some calamity ensues.
All right. Well, we'll see if your trip with your cousin bears any kind of a parallel or resemblance to the good parts of that movie. Thanks for recommending.
Well, all I can tell you about our landing in Warsaw is that it's Easter Monday, so that's already passed, obviously. We're
Yes.
recording this a little ahead of time, but I'll be stuffing cookies from the plane into my pockets because we won't be able to buy anything until the following day.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
One thing you cannot do, which I did on our trip back from Mexico, Rob and I landed, and of course we had Dottie and Livy under the seats ahead of us. We got off the plane in Victoria. I left the passports on the plane, Lisa.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Why did you have them out? For customs?
That's the great question. And when you're kind of juggling more than you usually do, more than just the carry-on and the
Yeah.
hat that Rob left on the plane on our way down, I was in charge of the passports. And I usually keep them in the side pocket of my leggings. So I sat down and I thought, well, I don't want to bend these. So I put them in the seat pocket where everything goes to disappear and die. So we got off the plane. We waited and waited for our luggage. And then we're about to line up for customs, which is blessedly short in Victoria. And I said to Rob, I don't have the passports. And he said, you're kidding, right? And I said, no, this is where the marriage ends. So luckily, there were a couple of people wearing fluorescent vests. And I went over to them and I said, I left my passports on the plane. It was the last flight of the night for this flight. They were able to radio onto the plane, and whatever crew was cleaning it up or doing security, I told them what seats we were in, and sure enough, he showed up, put them on the baggage carousel from outside because he couldn't get through with his security card, and around they came.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
It is. We were very lucky, but you know how precious your passport is when you're traveling, too.
Well, of course. And in Poland, and I think in the Czech Republic, we have to hand them in to where we're staying.
Oh, so you don't overstay.
Something like that. I mean, we had to send selfies and a whole bunch of stuff ahead of time. Security is very different in the eastern part of Europe. So we've been photocopying ours and just, you don't want to not have your hands on the thing.
Right. Good idea.
Yeah. Well, that's lucky that you got them back. Good for you.
It sure is. And right now, of course, flying is getting to be a more and more expensive thing all the time. Our flight prices to go back to Puerto Vallarta in the winter this year are going to be higher because of the fuel prices. And I'm sure you've seen all kinds of notification that flight prices are going up, 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 and you're glad you booked when you did. But that's the thing about travel and price surging, which is something we want to focus on this week, is it makes no sense, but airline tickets are one of the few things that get more expensive as their expiry date approaches.
Right. Well, it kind of makes sense in a way that if there's only a couple of seats left and you really want to go, those seats become more precious. But it's kind of also crappy the way they put those prices up. In fact, if you're looking on, say, Expedia or something, and you go in and out of different flights, when you come back, they'll be up a few bucks. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. Maybe it's just certain destinations. But if you come and look again the next day or a few hours later, 14, 26, 30 bucks more expensive.
Yep.
I have found. And it's just because they know that you're getting closer to booking and that you want this seat. And it's kind of crummy.
It is. So last week we talked about how fed up Canadians are with tipping.
Yeah.
It's just never ending. But you also found a story about algorithms.
Yeah.
And this is something that we also want to eliminate. Can you explain that and why, if we're not angry, we should be?
Well, yeah, it's algorithmic pricing. So, for example, it's 2:00 in the morning and you need diapers and you go on to Walmart, and Walmart's just an example, their website, they will be more expensive than they would be during the day if you were just going on and doing a regular shop.
What?
They look at all sorts of things like what time of day, your shopping habits, because there's cookies everywhere. They track you with cookies, and know whether or not you're willing to pay a little bit more. It's the same with even Uber. They will give you just a comfort ride at a certain time, like late at night, because the comfort is more expensive and they know you're going to say, oh, I got to get home. So you'll just take it. And it's just the practice of charging you more the more desperate you are or more in need of the thing. So there was this Abacus data poll on what people thought about this algorithmic pricing. And what surprised me was 52% said it should be banned. 31% said it should be allowed, but more strictly regulated. Well, how do you more regulate something that's based on your behavior? To me, it's you're either for it or against it.
Yeah.
And for not being an online merchant who wants to gouge people, I'm against it. It's like if you go into a grocery store, for example, they scanned you somehow when you came through and found out how much you were worth or whatever. And the can of chickpeas cost you 35% more. It's not really fair.
Yeah, it is definitely predatory. It's awfully smart.
It is. It is very smart. And I suppose in a capitalist society, that's how it goes. But boy, oh boy, it's only the same 4 people that keep getting rich off this kind of stuff. So it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. And I was disheartened to see that a lot of the stores in Canada are stopping with their Canadian notifications of what produce is Canadian and all of that. It's sad. And we're going to keep looking, but we have to be reminded if we want to keep our elbows up.
That's right. And we do want to keep our elbows up. I don't know why they think it doesn't matter as much anymore, especially with the government allegedly telling everybody to still buy Canadian.
Yeah. Well. Lisa, the little bit of an appetizer for next week's best of episode. This is from the episode that Gracefully and Frankly listeners mention most when they talk about laughing out loud.
The fart walk?
Yes. This is from episode 125, and you're going to hear lots more like this next week. Listen in.
So when you're walking, do you ever, I don't know, digest your food in an obvious way?
You mean like this? I'm walking on sunshine. I'm walking on sunshine.
Oh, why are farts so funny?
I know, I'm sorry. I'm 8 years old. I could not wait to do that.
There's some real science behind something called fart walking.
As long as we're not behind someone who's fart walking.
That's right.
Okay.
So,
yes.
If you eat a meal
Yes.
and you go for a walk and fart, it's good for you because you're helping your digestive system. The more you move, the more you sort of help things along through your bowel and through your intestines. And they're calling it fart walking. And, walking is good for you if you've had too much sugar, too many carbohydrates, whatever. It can help bring your blood sugar down if you're diabetic or hyperglycemic or whatever. But the fart walking... Who knew that was good for you? I mean, who hasn't seen somebody as they're walking along,
Yes.
whether it's a little kid or whatever.
Yeah, and why is it always in someplace quiet or echoey? Oh, geez.
So we were visiting Derek's mother, who has been gone many years now. Wonderful, lovely woman. And I had no idea that the whole time Derek was being careful not to pass any wind. So we got outside the second we got out of her building, he fart walked.
Oh, geez.
And it sounded a bit like a salute, a 21-gun salute. And I turned around, of course, as I will do, to see if there's anybody around. And we had walked out of the building. He had immediately started firing.
Oh.
And there were 3 people sitting in wheelchairs trying to get some sunshine for the day.
God. Oh, let's hope that they were hearing impaired, the poor dears.
It's been a decade now. I'll never forget the looks on their faces.
Oh, so they did hear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, one of them anyway, but I'm sure they thought, oh, well, that man's very healthy, so...
yeah, that's the first thing goes through my mind. Oh, jeez. Derek's never going to live that down. Huh.
His whole family are farters. They all talk about it and whatever.
I never, ever once heard my mother pass gas. Never once. I don't know. It must be a generational thing or something, or maybe she just didn't have any. But no, I think it's the latter.
Did they have a euphemism for it? My mom used to say fluff.
Fluff. We called it, are you ready? Knowing your favorite candies? We called it twizzling.
Oh, my goodness.
Who twizzled? I know.
Oh.
Oh, there's a percolator. We haven't heard that for a few weeks. Thank you to Laura Ferry. She bought us 5 coffees, Lisa.
Yes, she did. And the Buy Us a Coffee, the little coffee icon on our website, gracefullyandfrankly.com. And Laura clicked it. She wrote to us. She said, "You wonderful women have had a trying week. Aaron with your cold and Lisa with witnessing that tragic accident. Love to you both." Thank you, Laura. Love you back. And thanks so much for the coffees.
That's right. The coffees, the pricing is all up to you. You can give us 1, you can give us 10, whatever you like. Thank you for supporting 2 women who are doing the best we can to bring you the best we got. Now, Laura mentioned something about that tragic accident. And of course, we talk about it in great detail in episode 170. If you'd like to go back and listen, of course, it's all free, thanks to Envy Pillow and Sierra Sil. And you have kind of a gentle closing to that story, don't you?
Yeah, a reader of my blog let me know that someone she worked with was the son of the woman who eventually died after the accident that I witnessed. And after I saw the obituary and saw, yes, his name was there, I sent him an email and just basically offered my condolences and let him know that I don't think his mother felt any pain. And I really don't. I was the witness who called 911 and talked to her until emergency services arrived. And then he wrote back to me, and he was very kind and was very happy that I let him know and just told me how everyone was just so wonderful to him and that he was grateful that there were so many caring people around her during that time. So I kind of feel like it's closed. I can move on and know that, I did what I could and not have any lingering feelings about it.
I think it's such a comfort to the family to know what her last moments were like, and you are the one who was able to tell them that. And what a gift that is from you, Lisa. Truly.
I just thought that if it was me
Yes.
and somebody had the moment to tell me something like that, I would want to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a nice little exchange, and I do feel terrible for them because we'll never know exactly what happened, but the result is the same.
One week today, the finale of this season is happening on The Pit. And Lisa, I have to tell you, I found out a couple of very interesting things about this show, which I didn't watch all winter and have been binging with Rob since I got back.
Oh, I bet. What have you found out?
Why there's no music on the show. And while I'm binging ER and all those doctor shows that we love, there's always some music that comes in, somebody singing a sad song or whatever, whatever.
Yes.
The Pit has no music because Noah Wiley, who is so brilliant, noticed that when he's watching a show with his kids and the music comes on, they look down at their devices because they know something is going to be ending. And so they
Oh,
don't need to pay attention anymore.
right.
So he says it becomes much more of an interactive experience when there's not the music coming in because, that doesn't happen in real life.
Yes.
Somebody doesn't waft past the hospital room and sing, I will remember you.
You're absolutely right. You're right. And that lends that real feel to the show too. Even more so.
And
Wow.
something neat that's happening in the US next Thursday is there's this chain of theaters. It's called the Alamo Draft House, and it's like a bar and a theater. And I went to one way back when to watch a movie and get served at the table, and it's really kind of a lot of fun. They are going to be offering the finale free to healthcare workers.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it is cool.
Yeah.
We know a couple of cool healthcare workers who decided to turn their talents into a real business. Of course, we're talking about Kathy and Kim, the founders of Envy Pillow, and just how grateful we are that they used their talents to make not only a pillow and products that are good for your skin and gentle as we age, but also so helpful for necks that hurt, shoulders that hurt, and backs and alignment. Envy Pillow goes everywhere with you. That's another thing. I forgot my passports on the plane, Lisa, but I did not forget my Envy pillows.
Priorities.
Absolutely. Go to envypillow.com, ENVY pillow.com. Use the code GF, get 10% off. Get yourself one of the hyaluronic acid eye masks that fit me like a glove if my hands had two eyes. Oh, that's a good endorsement, don't you think? It just flows off the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but it sits good on your face. Oh, that sounds awful.
Ooh, is it time for this week in Totally Stupid or Twits?
Oh my goodness, Lisa, this is a cautionary tale if ever I've heard one because I know you have done this.
Yes, you are my witness. I have done this, but I think I was a little more discerning about where I did it. So, this week's twit is an Australian woman who pleaded guilty to graffiti charges after putting googly eyes on a public sculpture to make it look funny while she was under the influence of MDMA, which is a drug. She
Ooh.
has to pay a $1,400 fine and complete 60 hours of community service, which, she's kind of already doing in her own way. But I put some googly eyes on all sorts of things in Palm Springs, but no public sculptures that I can remember. It was always just like a doorknob or salt shakers and stuff. So,
Yeah, you did not climb up on the giant statue of Marilyn Monroe with her
no,
skirt aloft and put
no.
googly eyes under her skirt.
And somehow I feel like this woman must have either used glue or something to harm the sculpture. So, $1,400 fine and 60 hours of community service scraping gum from the bottom of tables or something.
Keep your googly eyes in your purse in Poland, madam.
I will, I promise.
It's funny sitting on that plane next to Silken Lauman. She was telling me as she was typing about the arthritis in her hands and how thick her fingers are. And I'm thinking, girl, you use those hands to medal for Canada in the rowing, right? And Rob said later, why didn't you tell her about Sierra Sil? And, would you have? Because I'm sitting in the seat right next to her on the plane, and I know how this natural Canadian product works. And I know how Michael Bentley is all about supporting Canadian athletes. And there I have one of the superstars of Canadian athleticism sitting in the seat next to me, and I didn't tell her about Sierra Sil. Well, if we're in touch, I will mention it in an email to her because everybody should know to go to sierrasil.com. And it's not that I don't believe in it, but it's just I'm so over the top in my belief and my knowledge on how it works with arthritis and joint pain and even rebuilding cartilage in your knees that she might have called, a flight attendant on me and said, get this crazy lady out of my row.
Check it out, sierrasil.com, Sierra like the mountain, Sil as in silkenlauman.com, and you use the code GF for 14% off.
You just have the best trip. After our best of next week for episode 172, we will talk to you back here in Canada. You're going to have all the stories, and I cannot wait to hear. Safe travels to you, my dear friend.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
You will. Bye for now.